Man, what's going on with you guys, man? Welcome back to the channel, man. Hopefully everything is solid with y'all. And before we get into the video, man, make sure y'all go subscribe to my Patreon if you want that deep dive on my content, exclusive content, get more access with me. That link is in the description. Appreciate you. All right, so I got a video. I want to react to it. So let's go ahead and get right into it.
I have a question. When you're outside, why do guys ask for your Instagram instead of just asking for your phone number? I feel like when, you vibing with a guy and then you think he's about to go and be like, oh, put your number in my phone, or what is your number? They just hit you with the, oh, what's your Instagram? And I don't know if it's just me, but it gives sneaky. Like, it gives, you got a girlfriend or you got something going on. So you can't give your number out because you can't be texting and calling, but you could be on Instagram. I don't know. Somebody let me know what that means, because it gives you don't really want nothing. That's why you didn't ask for my number, but you just want to stalk me on Instagram, or you just want to see my pictures, see what I'm like, and then ask for my number. I don't know. Like, it's just me. That just seems so strange to me. Like, why don't you just ask for my phone number? Like, that's what I'm telling you. All these men are weird. The dating game is different. I'm over it.
Very, 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 very interesting. Now, I will say this, right? There's nothing wrong with getting a woman's Instagram, right? I don't think there's nothing wrong with you giving a woman her Instagram, especially if you're meeting her on a dating app, right? And you have a pretty straight Instagram. There's nothing wrong with that, because yes, you can see how the woman more conducts herself and how her lifestyle is. I don't think there's nothing wrong with that. However, with women, you have to be direct. You gotta be a little bit more. I'm not saying being super direct, like, oh, I just wanna have sex with you. I'm not saying be that direct, but what I mean is you wanna come from a position of leverage and power. So if this is a woman that you find to be interesting, for me, from my mind state, the first thing I would wanna do is like, hey, so if you're meeting her in person, because clearly she interacted with homeboy in person, the first thing I would do is say, hey, we should go out and have some frozen yoga, or hey, we should go bowling, or hey, we should go for a walk in the park. Set a date, and then you can give the communication, whether that's the Instagram or your number. That's cool. But when you are just, oh, what's your Instagram? It makes it seem like you a kid, like you don't got no real intentions, like you don't have no plans. And a woman, what you gotta understand is, women like leaders. A woman wants a man who is confident. A woman wants a man who is going somewhere. So if you're just like, oh, you got Instagram? From that aspect, the way she made it seem, it makes it seem like either A, you don't know how to lead, so you're just going for the Instagram, or B, you're trying to use the Instagram as a crutch, meaning that you're just asking for the Instagram because you're fearing that, okay, if I get the number, she may reject me. But I got something better that we can do. Give the woman your number, because now, or you can give the number, give the Instagram to her. But again, the first thing you should be doing is setting the date. Especially if you're meeting with her in person, go ahead and set the date, and then give her the number. You always want to put the ball in the woman's court, especially if you was the one that had to approach. Say for instance, you had to approach and you had to set the date. So now I'm gonna put the ball in your court. I'm gonna give you my number and we're gonna go on this date. So now she has to hit me up to see where the location is. So you always wanna kind of put the ball in the woman's court, because she's gonna either A, hit you up, or B, not hit you up. But when you come from the mind state of like, you got Instagram, you got Snapchat, it makes it seem like you ain't got no direction. Like you just trying to like, you're trying to go in the back door. And when you do that, you're not gonna win in the situation. Now again, I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with using the Instagram, right? There's nothing wrong with that. I think if you're meeting a woman from a dating app, I think that's the perfect time to give a woman your Instagram, because on a dating app, you're constantly just going through people. So there's nothing wrong with that. But in person, if you meet her in person and the conversation is flowing, you see how she looks, you see how she's talking, so you should have a good sense of how she is. Now I understand you can't already know how somebody is all the way, but if you seeing her in person, that's different than seeing her on a dating app. Like I said earlier, if I meet a chick in person and the conversations are flowing, the first thing I'm gonna do is say, hey, would you be down with, going bowling? And then what I would do is I would give her my number, so that way she has to contact me to see where the date's gonna be at. And that's how you really, and this is why vetting is so important. Because when you put the ball into the woman's court, she has to hit it back. Shout out to Coach Corey Wayne. You know what I'm saying? So now when she hits the ball over the court, you get to see, okay, if she hit it back and she wants to know where the date is at, she's rocking with me. But if she don't hit me up, then I know she's probably not as interested. You always want to put the ball in the woman's court. And I know a lot of dudes be thinking like, well, if I give her my number, what if she don't hit me up? That's something I used to think about all the time. I'll be like, man, I always wanted to take the woman's number. I was always a big component of taking the woman's number and me hitting her up. But what you gotta realize is when you really value yourself, you really put yourself first, you'll understand that, okay, a woman who's going to rock with me is gonna hit me up. But a lot of times us as men, we be thinking like, oh man, she's so bad, she's so fine, she might forget who I am. Can't have that mindset. That's a scarcity mindset. Here's another thing you gotta think about. When you ask for her Instagram, I don't know if she gave Buddy the Instagram, she probably did, because a woman doesn't mind you being one of her fans. So now that you take her Instagram, now you're gonna have to chase her. See, the thing is, you may have thought that by getting her Instagram, you're doing less work, but you're actually doing more work now. Because now you don't know if she's gonna be difficult with the communication, or you just don't know what. So now you gotta message her more online to set something up, when in reality, you could have set the date up in person, and then you could have gave her your number, put the ball in her court for her to hit you up to get the location of the date. You know what I'm saying? So that's the place you gotta come from. You always gotta come from a position of leverage with women, because you need to be able to see, okay, is this woman rocking with me or is she not rocking with me? So when you put the ball in the woman's court, let her make the move. Because I guarantee you, Buddy's the one that went up and talked to her, right? So if you went up and talked to her, and then let's say you set a date, that's two things you done did to move it forward. So now it's time for me to it's time for me to let her move it forward. So I'm gonna put the ball in your court and I'm gonna wait for you to hit it back to see if you really rocking with me or not. Because there's no point in me meeting you in person and then I'm asking for your Instagram. That's stupid. I'm working now because you think you're working smarter, but you're actually working harder. And I understand why she's confused. I get it, because now I understand it, right? You got the dudes out here, and I don't condone cheating, right? Now, if you doing that on the low, of course you're gonna use the Instagram because you don't want her hitting your line, right? But in the other sense, like as men, we don't talk to women we don't find attractive. So what this tells me about Buddy is either he don't have plans, or his bag not straight, or he don't know how to lead this woman, so he wants to get the Instagram to try to kind of figure her out, which doesn't really make sense. I get it, but I don't get it, if you feel me. But it's just the thing when you do that with a woman, it gives off signals of that you're not going for what you want. Because to me, I don't talk to women in public that I'm not attracted to. Now, let me say this. I don't try to talk to women romantically or get at them that I'm not attracted to. I'm not saying that now I talk to people in public all the time, but if I'm talking to a woman I'm attracted to and I'm giving off signs of I want to get with her, I'm not gonna just try to get her Instagram. That's not what I'm doing. I'm gonna set a date and then I'm gonna put the ball in her court by giving her the number. But when you talk to a woman that because she knows you're attracted to her and you just get the Instagram, now you're putting yourself in a position of you're gonna have to chase her. When you can see if she rocks with you from that second by putting the ball in her court. Like I'm telling y'all, man, I spent so many years chasing women and all these different type of things. And the best feeling is when you put the ball in a woman's court and she makes moves on you, when she goes for you, when she reaches out to you, when she pursues you. When a woman makes it easy for you and she cooperates and she shows up in a timely fashion, she's not difficult, she don't require you to take her on 5-star dinner dates, those are the women that you want to deal with. So if you're dealing with a woman in person, what better way to do it and see if she's rocking with you by giving her your number after you didn't set the date? That's playing a position of leverage. That's a position of power. You know what I'm saying? Because you're not chasing. You're simply saying, hey, if she agreed to the date, okay, cool. Now I'm gonna give you my number, hit me up, and I'll let you know where the date's gonna be at. So now she has to take the initiative to hit you up if she wants to go on that date. You know what I'm saying? And that's the best game to play with these women. So like I say on every video, man, continue to put yourself first. All right, guys, that's my video for today, man. I appreciate you guys for coming over to the channel as always. Make sure you continue to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. And I'm gone.